Hi guys, I have not made a YouTube video. Actually, I've only made one YouTube video so far in 2025, and I apologize for that. I've been MIA this year. I apologize. My reason for being with that is that I feel like YouTube, I really like YouTube and I have a lot of fun with YouTube, but I just feel like I've been in a rut. I've been going through it this year, and without boring you with all of the personal details about my life, I just haven't had a lot of energy, and I've just been, like, anytime I want to record, it's almost like, I feel like I have so many different platforms and avenues where I put all of my work, like Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Like, by the time I think about YouTube, I'm just kind of like, it's already out there, like a Patreon. So I just feel like the idea of like going and then making the exact same content that I've already put out that month into YouTube form, sometimes it just feels kind of like, is this actually even what people want? So I don't know. I hope that you guys are doing well. I apologize that my YouTube has been honestly not that well. I will try to be more consistent. I would like to maybe go back to the weekly tarot videos just to force myself to be consistent with something, and they were honestly very quick and easy to do. That being said, let's get into everything August astrology. We are currently in the thick of a Mercury retrograde in Leo. We have the Mercury retrograde, it ends on August 11th in Leo, and the house that you have Leo in. And then we have the full moon in Aquarius, and honestly the full moon in Aquarius to me is very lackluster because it's not making any aspects apart from the sun opposite moon. And sun opposite moon in astrology literally is just what a full moon is. For the most part, it's kind of void, it's kind of unaspected. It's not really giving us anything to work with other than closure, I guess, or a finality or ending. But to me, it doesn't seem like a very crazy, like, major drama ending. It's more of just like, okay, this ended. Now, there is a caveat where Mercury retrograde in Leo is forming a like same sign opposition or whole sign opposition, I want to say, not by degree. So it could be something foreshadowing or revealed to you, something finalizing in your house of Leo to be why something in your house of Aquarius ends. But I don't even think it's strongly that correlated. So if anything, it's just you close one chapter to start a new one. But if anything, it's also just like the last full moon of the summer. So it's just us getting ready and transitioning into fall. I'm not going to say it's going to be the most boring full moon. I'm just also not promising you it's going to be that eventful. And with that being said, we also have the new moon at the end of the month in the sign of Virgo, and that one, okay, so like it's making a square to Uranus, and I don't really work with outer planets too strongly because I feel like a lot of times outer planets just, they move so slowly, they're generational, they impact us on a generational scale. So when it comes to like moon aspects, I don't always count them. The only reason why I'm putting a little bit more weight there is because if I didn't count the Uranus square, there's literally nothing else happening. And so with that being said, the new moon could depict like a positive beginning in your life in the area of Virgo, and it could also depict like a surprising new change, maybe for the I would assume the positive, because the new moon itself is usually a very positive or like auspicious time. I don't see anything necessarily negating that the surprise would be bad or malefic. Maybe a sudden jolt to get you to start a new chapter in your life, or a sudden change or an abrupt shift in your life for the better. So yeah, with that being said, let's go through all 12 signs. Aries risings, you have Mercury retrograde in your 5th house, and it will stay that way until it stations direct on the 11th. The 5th house is like pleasure, passion, romance, sex, fertility, sometimes marriage, and you could be reassessing your area of who and what you take passion and pleasure out of right now. You could be reassessing certain hobbies or creativity or creative goals that maybe you were interested in previously, but now you don't feel that interested in. Some of you could just be feeling like you're in a creative rut. Some of you could feel like this has been a transit of deep reflection around like who you put energy into, what you put energy into, and ultimately like if you're feeling happy with the things and the people that you are investing that energy in. So that kind of conclusion will come around like August 11th. I think you're going to be clearing out some things so that you can make space for better things like new hobbies, new interests, new goals. You're going to have the full moon on August 9th. August 9th, the full moon in Aquarius will be in your 11th house, And this could be a friendship fizzling out. This could be the way that you use social media changing or adjusting. Maybe you're deciding to switch platforms or go to a new platform. Maybe a platform that you usually use, you no longer utilize that much. This could also mean like an ending or a change within how you network or your community. Maybe you're going to change like which kind of spaces you enter or which kind of groups of people you affiliate with. I don't think it's that dramatic though, but it just could be like a conclusion or some kind of closure surrounding, I would say, people in your life that no longer need to have that much access to you. And it could even be something stupid like you notice that certain people are always viewing your stories but never hearting it. So you're like, oh, I'm gonna block this person. Like, why do they have access to me? It could be something like that. And then you're going to have the 6th house new moon. Now the new moon is in the house of like productivity, physical health, pets, work ethic, kind of like routine. So maybe you're going to get back in the gym. Maybe you've been slacking. I'm an Aries rising. I've been slacking with the gym. Maybe the new moon incentivizes you to get more into a routine that benefits you and that feels healthy for you. Like for me specifically, because you know I'm an Aries rising, so I'm gonna interject. I am a Leo. I feel like I've been eating pretty bad lately, so maybe this is going to be a time that propels me into eating more whole foods again and getting more active again. Yeah. And for some of you, because the 6th house relates to pets and I love pets, maybe some of you are going to be adopting a new pet during this transit, so that could be really lovely. Taurus risings, the full moon is in your 10th house on the 9th of August. Oh my god, I'm dying. So you could be undergoing a major career shift. Maybe you're walking away from a job or an aspirational goal that you thought you wanted, but it's getting too complicated, it's getting too heavy, and I think you're just wondering like, why am I putting so much energy and stress into this area of my life when I could be freeing it up and putting more energy somewhere else and feel good about it? So I feel like that's the realization that you're kind of having. I also feel like you're kind of maybe in some way reclaiming your reputation. Like maybe people have been having some whisperings or maybe family have been like projecting some kind of, I don't know, rumors through the grapevine about your character lately, and maybe you're just kind of like, you know what, I don't really care, think what you want. Maybe you're just kind of like, you're over pleasing people, you're over putting your energy in spaces that just don't make you feel like you're getting anything out of it in return. And a lot of that could look like very literal. It could be like changing your job, being more firm with your reputation and your boundaries. And then on the 11th, the Mercury retrograde period will end. It's been in your 4th house while I'm recording this, and hopefully I'm going to post this like within the next day, until August 11th. So you're going to be, during this time, you've probably been reassessing like your home life, the people you live with, if you feel comfortable, if you feel safe in your home. Maybe you've been utilizing boundaries, whether that's locking your door when your family member keeps opening it, or whether that's having a conversation with a roommate about if they're being too loud while you're trying to sleep, like things like that. You could also, maybe you're like looking into new apartments, or maybe you're thinking about buying property, and like these are things that have just been coming up during this retrograde period, and you've been pursuing like if it's time to consider that more seriously. And some of you could just be redecorating your house, reflecting on like, oh my god, my house is crazy, I need to clean it, I need to redecorate, I haven't really taken pride in it, and that's just something that you're doing right now. It doesn't always have to be like the sky is falling with Mercury retrograde. Sometimes it's actually pretty fun and useful. Now the new moon is in the 5th house for you, so you could be having like a really positive, good first date. If you want to go on a first date around August 23rd, I kind of recommend it. It could be like a pleasant surprise. You could also be launching a project or hobby. In fact, I kind of encourage you to do that or to think about that, because it might go very well. 5th house is like creative passions, but it's also like people you feel passionate about. So like putting energy or time into a creative outlet, or going on dates, or even like spending time with loved ones could all be really good things to consider. Gemini risings, full moon is in your 9th house on August 9th, and it will be, oh God, why am I always so out of breath? This could be an ending or some kind of conclusion around a realization that you've had. Maybe you've had a major philosophical shift recently where you changed like your affiliation with a certain religious belief or political standpoint. Maybe you've decided that you want to change something with your school, whether you're deciding to drop out or change your major or go back. It could be something around education. It could be something around travel. Maybe you're wanting to change your itinerary for where you travel to, if you've already been thinking about booking a trip. And you, on the, excuse me, I'm all over the place. On August 11th, you will have Mercury retrograde end in your 3rd house. So this could be a time of till August 11th, you could be reassessing how you speak to people, dynamics with your siblings, like enforcing boundaries, but also communication, short travel, like getting your car repaired, or how you use social media. If you're not careful during Mercury retrograde, you could be more prone out of, I think, everyone to say something hastily that you want to take back later. You more than anyone should be journaling over tweeting your random thoughts just to avoid any kind of miscommunications, because it could feel during Mercury retrograde that people are very quick to like put a projected idea onto you. And that could be why the full moon in Aquarius on August 9th is about a major realization or shift in perspective, maybe around certain people, maybe around overall environment. And then on August 23rd, you're going to have the new moon in your 4th house. So you could be, maybe you applied for an apartment and you got accepted. Maybe you applied for potentially buying property and you got accepted and you're getting the ball rolling. Maybe you're redecorating your house and making it cozy. Maybe you saw like a cute little TikTok about like, I don't know, a projector for a little library room and you're decorating and making a little library for yourself. I don't know. So it could be like a fun little thing, but it could also be something movement around family dynamics or home dynamics. Maybe you and your partner are talking about family situations or new beginnings within familial themes, or it could be just like positive news happening around your family dynamics in general. Cancer risings, you will have the full moon in Aquarius in your 8th house. So you could be paying off a credit card debt or expense, paying off a loan. You could be closing a chapter around someone who felt very entitled to have a lot of access to you, enforcing a boundary around someone. You could be stepping away or just like realizing that just because you could be grateful or appreciative for someone for having done a nice gesture for you, you don't actually owe them anything. And I think that you're kind of like reclaiming your sense of self through that. And then on August 11th, you will be having the Mercury retrograde station direct in your, oh my gosh, my mind is glitching, your 4th house. Oh my god, why is my mind like this? 2nd house. In your 2nd house, during Mercury retrograde, you could be reassessing or watching closely how you've been spending, how you've been investing a lot of time in people, how you've noticed how you constantly always text certain people first, but they never seem to text you back or text you first. You could just be assessing like how you invest in people and things and material items and whether or not it's becoming a drain on your end. So the Mercury retrograde could give you some really positive revelations around like how you can better protect your sense of self and protect your energy more or less. So that comes to its conclusion on August 11th. And then on August 23rd, the new moon is going to be in your 3rd house. So this could be positive for like posting a TikTok and having it go viral, launching a YouTube channel for like a niche interest that you're really excited about. This could be like good for if you want like a social media following, like for gaining more followers. But it could also just be good for catching up with siblings, communicating with loved ones. Potentially some of you could be like trading in your car and getting a dream car right now because it's also the house of cars. And then for Leo risings, the full moon in Aquarius will be on your descendant. This could be closure or an ending around a relationship dynamic, be romantic or platonic. It could also just mean that you're being more firm about certain boundaries and how you communicate with people, like not letting everyone have access to you just because they want to have access to you. And also like Mercury retrograde, which later will station direct on the 11th of August, could be this major revelation period of like how you perceive yourself, what your core identity is, how other people expect you to be, whether those things align with one another or conflict with one another. So like you're going through a major adjustment period of like, who am I? What do I want? Who are these people? What do they want from me? What do I want from them? And I think that's all kind of like coming to a conclusion around the full moon. But I also think that you're going to have a lot of like peace or like a lot of, how do I say, like you're going to feel good about your decisions because it's going to be like a few days later, Mercury stations direct on your ascendant, and it's going to be something that you feel good about. Even though maybe like not all endings are going to be super positive, I don't want to sugarcoat, but I do feel like it's not going to be something that you feel that blindsided by. However, August 23rd, the new moon in Virgo in your 2nd house could be like an unexpected surprise where someone really goes out of their way to let you know like how much they value you and care about you. Or it could be a time where someone or where you have like unexpected money in your bank account that you weren't expecting to hit on a certain date. Maybe you get like an added boost of income. Virgo risings, the full moon in Aquarius on August 9th will be in your 6th house of routine, health. Is that right? I want to make sure. In your 6th house of routine, in health. You could be closing a chapter around a certain, maybe you're canceling a membership at a certain gym to go to a new one. Maybe you've decided that like certain gym values just don't align with you. Maybe you're changing your diet or something. Maybe you're changing your routine to better accommodate your needs. Maybe you're changing something with your pet, like learning how, like maybe you're changing their diet or something. Maybe their food hasn't been doing well for them. But yeah, something around your routines. It could also mean work, like a change in work, but more of like something within your daily work life changing, not so much like you're changing your job, if that makes sense. And then Mercury retrograde stations direct on the 11th, and it's been in your 12th house. So Mercury retrograde has been sitting in your house of subconscious thought, addiction, illness, hidden enemies. Honestly, it's been, I don't want to say challenging, but I feel like you've been really in your head lately. I feel like that when Mercury retrograde sits in your 12th house, it's almost like all the things you usually push to the back of your mind are forced to come to the front. So I feel like you've had to really been doing a lot of soul searching or a lot of like digging deeper with some of the things that you've been feeling lately. However, this could also lead to like really great or positive revelations around how to, like, what you want in the future. Maybe you're learning like, you know, if I'm constantly having to question my interactions with this person, maybe I shouldn't constantly let them have access to me. Or maybe you're changing how much you drink alcohol. Maybe you're like, you know, I've been kind of vaping a lot, I've been kind of smoking or drinking a lot, I don't really feel that good about myself. So you're cutting those things out. Like those could all be variables that are happening during the Mercury retrograde, and then things that you leave the retrograde period having revelations of. Honestly, you could just be getting a lot of rest. The 12th house encourages you to slow down, and that could be translating into the full moon in Aquarius in your sixth house of routine based on revelations from Mercury retrograde. So they kind of go hand in hand in a way. And then the new moon in Virgo is on your ascendant, and this could be a very positive new moon. I feel like if you were to change up your appearance or get a tattoo booked or get a hair appointment booked during this time, you could feel really good about it. Maybe even just like gutting your wardrobe and donating some of it and then going and trying out new pieces of clothing at like the thrift store or something could be really fun for you. But not even on like a physical appearance like vibe. This could just be a really positive new moon to validate your sense of self. Maybe you're just feeling really good about yourself and you're ready to like enter Virgo season with a bit more confidence. Yeah. And then Libra risings, you will have the full moon in Aquarius. Libra risings, the full moon in Aquarius is on August 9th in your 5th house. So the 5th house is the house of passion, marriage, fertility, art, creativity, and just overall hobbies. Libra risings, you're going to have the full moon in Aquarius in your 5th house, so you could be adjusting maybe a relationship ending, maybe a hobby that you previously were really passionate about, you no longer feel that passionate about. Maybe you find yourself wanting to free up your energy in one area so that you can have more energy in other spaces. Maybe you were hosting a certain like club or group and then you got tired of it. Maybe you're going to do something different moving forward. So something like that is coming to an end, but it's based on like you just no longer feel passionate about it anymore and you no longer care the way you want to care about the things that you do. So that's why that chapter is closing. And then the Mercury retrograde period stations direct in your 11th house on August 11th. Is that right? Yeah, in your 11th house on August 11th. So you could have had a lot of revelations around your friendships and your sense of community around social media or how you use social media during the Mercury retrograde period, and you're probably coming to a conclusion where the things that you used to care about or the things that no longer make you feel good, you are just wanting to remove yourself from. So that could be the major revelation that comes with the Mercury retrograde period, and it stationing direct is like finalizing the kind of people you want in your life, how you want to use social media, your relationship with social media, and also like who you follow online. On August 23rd, you're going to have the new moon in your 12th house. So this could come with new opportunities to rest or slow down. Maybe you're taking a vacation, maybe you're taking a few days off of work, but maybe you're also taking time to like recede into yourself a bit. Maybe you've been extroverted throughout most of August, and then towards the end of August, you take some time to kind of decompress or do some like hobbies or interests around the house that aren't super social or extroverted. However, they're things that you typically are feeling good about or that you feel positive towards. And then Scorpio risings, you guys have the full moon in Aquarius in your 4th house, August 9th, and it's going to be probably an ending around a situation in your home life or family dynamics. Maybe it's a boundary being enforced, maybe someone's moving out, maybe you're moving out, maybe just something is changing within your home structure in some way, but it's like a necessary change. And then on August 11th, Mercury stations direct in your 10th house. So over the past month, you've probably been having like revelations or ideas around your career that need to be adjusted. And now you're coming to a conclusion of how to ultimately walk away from a career path or how to assert a boundary within your career. And you gain that revelation or that like final conclusion by August 11th. And then the new moon is going to be in your 11th house of social media, friendships, community, and organizations. So maybe you're launching a new social media venture, maybe you're hanging out with friends more, you're more extroverted, whereas I feel like the first half of August you're a little bit more focused on like dynamics with your home or dynamics with your work, and then I think you try to make more time for like friends or things outside of both of those focuses and opportunities to decompress or just have more fun, maybe creatively or with groups of people that you enjoy. And then Sagittarius risings, you guys have the full moon in your 3rd house on August 9th, so you could be trading out your car, maybe something with your car is changing. You could be having a conversation that needs to be had with a sibling. You could be changing your relationship with social media in some way, like deleting an account, blocking someone, changing who you follow online. And then Mercury will station direct in your 9th house, so you could have like a bit of closure or a bit of awareness around a new philosophical belief. Maybe you've gained some wisdom over the past few weeks over like reassessing things, maybe with school, maybe with travel, maybe with certain people and like their more moral standing versus yours, and maybe you're learning like who you want to be around and who you don't want to be around. And then the new moon is going to be in your 10th house of career, so this could be a positive change or adjustment within your career, like a boost of income, a promotional opportunity, or maybe like you hear back from a career opportunity that you've been like putting in effort to apply towards and you're finally getting accepted. So this could all just be like, or it could also just feel like your reputation is very received well lately and like things that you do are getting a positive response. And then Capricorn risings, on August 9th you will have the full moon in your 2nd house, so something could be ending around maybe your finances, like maybe you're having to pay off something, or maybe you're changing who has access to you. Maybe certain people that you previously put a lot of energy towards, you are starting to feel like it's fruitless or you're constantly drained, so you're probably changing or adjusting how much access they have to you because of that. And then Mercury retrograde stations direct in your 8th house on the 11th. So I feel like, again, for the past few weeks with Mercury retrograde, you've been kind of assessing like people's expectations of you and whether or not you want to meet those demands, or whether or not you feel like you're doing things because you feel obligated or because you want to. You could be adjusting boundaries with who has access to you. You could be changing your relationship with how you budget, canceling subscriptions, things like that. And then the new moon will be in your 9th house, so you could be feeling really like excited to go back to school, to change your major, to book a vacation. Maybe you're thinking about moving altogether to a new city or country and you're doing a lot of research around this. Aquarius risings, your full moon, the full moon on August 9th will be in your 1st house, so something around your sense of self is coming to an end, and this could be like maybe you get a major haircut, or maybe you assert a boundary around someone who feels too entitled to have access to you. This could also be a time where you're learning something about yourself and you're moving away from a certain version of yourself that you no longer feel resonates with who you are. And then on August 11th, you could be having, or Mercury retrograde is stationing direct in your 7th house, so you could be adjusting your friendships, like you're kind of changing yourself and your friendships during this time accordingly based on revelations you're gaining both about who you are and who other people are to you and what they expect or want or need from you. So you're kind of at odds with both of these, but you're working to like align them, if that makes sense. And then the new moon is in your 8th house on August 23rd, so you could find out that a loan or bill that you needed to pay off was already paid. You could come into some money unexpectedly, get a random check you weren't expecting to have. Money could be a little bit easier for you, or you could have like someone randomly let you know that they have feelings for you and it could be a surprise. Pisces risings, the full moon on August 9th is in your 12th house, so you could be again like learning to walk away from or minimize like alcohol use, drug use. You could be cutting out a certain friend or a certain family member who makes you feel constantly like they're just draining you, putting up boundaries. You could be resting more. Maybe you've been constantly on the go or overworked, so you're like putting in vacation time and you're just kind of taking a step or a pause to like recede into yourself yourself and recharge. And then on the 11th, Mercury stations direct in your 6th house. So over the past few weeks, you've been having revelations around like your daily habits, your routine, your lifestyle choices. Are you eating healthy? Are you postmating too much? Are you working out enough? Those are all things that you could be kind of navigating. Maybe you are trying to get your like dogs trained. Maybe you're trying to crate train them. These are all things that you're kind of adjusting, but it's on the axis of health, both physical and mental. So I think you're just trying to like do things to make you ultimately feel better. And then the new moon on the 23rd is going to be on your descendant. So I feel like it's going to be a positive time for you to be social again. Like you spend the first half of August a little bit to yourself, and then the second half of August, you're probably more willing to like go on vacations, hang out with people, be social, be a bit more open to new opportunities, meet new people. Maybe you're going on first dates, maybe you're hitting it off with people. This could all be a positive time to just like involve more friendships or like going out more with friends and doing more things out of your house. But yeah, also it could indicate with the Uranus where it could indicate like someone you haven't heard from in a while that you really like reaching out to you and letting you know like, hey, like how have you been? Like, so it could be something like that as well. But overall, if you guys want a more personal reading with me, or if you are a Leo or Virgo and want a birthday reading with me, I do readings for $20 on Patreon, and you can also read all the horoscopes for this more in depth in a text format for $10 on Patreon if you don't want to do the reading feature. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.